Tapes of Trepidation presents the Campfire Sessions. Hello, dear listener, and welcome back to the Campfire Sessions. I'm so happy you've come back to join me by the campfire as more creepy stories are shared. I hope you didn't have any trouble finding your way here tonight. I know having to travel through the woods in such a way at night can be a bit much for some people. Heck, there are a lot of people who won't even step foot in a place like this at night. Forests can hold many mysteries, strange places, and horrifying creatures. Tonight, we delve into 3 unique and creepy stories that take us into the forest. Starting off with a tale about one man's encounter with the terrifying forest dweller. My name is William, and I am being hunted by something. I have explored all the forests of America, but never in my life have I experienced a greater horror, and whatever it was is coming from me now. I was on my way up Mount Lemon after I returned home to Arizona. I had decided to make that my final exploration of the year, so I took my best friend with me to share the experience. When we arrived, we set up camp in a patch of forest close to our car and the road. The day went by fast, and too soon, night would fall. It was that night that we had heard the first warning of our fate. After we had eaten dinner and were settling down for the night, we heard something that sounded like the wail of an air raid siren. But it only sounded once, which troubled us. At first I thought that the nearby city was being attacked, but we heard and saw nothing in the south. Then we heard it again. Louder this time. Because of the mysterious sound, we kept our lights off and our mouths shut the entire night, just in case it wasn't our imagination. The next day, we went to the mountains community to find out what that thing we heard last night was. We asked other people if they had heard it, searched things on our computers, even looked for similar instances in history or reference books in the library. But we couldn't find any answers. Except one. The only answer we could find, and it was at the end of the day, was an old man who told us that what we heard was the howl of a creature known as the forest dweller. He told us that in ancient times, a group of Native Americans had come to the forest region to perform a ritual of some sorts to contact their gods. But the product of the ritual was not a means of communication with the old gods, but a monstrous creature which killed half of them and dragged the other half into an obscure portal to another realm. I never really believed the man's story until that night. By nightfall, we had settled down in our tent, thinking of the old man's story of the forest dweller. While I slept, I had a nightmare of the creature itself, opening its portal and dragging me into it. Though I could not see it at all. I woke with a start. It was still nighttime. Before I could go back to sleep, I heard something that made my heart twist. An otherworldly bellowing roar. My friend woke up with a gasp of horror. Whatever it was very close to our location. Then we heard something else that made us stiffen, to where we sat as still as statues. Multiple, thick, heavy footsteps coming our way. It sounded like 4 people were walking towards us. When they stopped, there was a pause before something made of wood grabbed my friend and pulled him out of the tent. I rushed out to help him, but I was hit in the head by something thick and heavy. When my vision cleared, I saw it holding my friend. It was a horrific sight, completely made of wood. 8 legs, a horrible smiling face, teeth like blades, claws like scythes. It took my screaming friend and sliced him into bits, sending the jibs into oblivion before it turned to me and reached out. I got to my feet and ran for it. The creature was chasing me, roaring as it lunged forward. I had managed to make it back to the car and drove off as fast as I could. I could still hear the creature chasing after me. But oddly enough, the mirror didn't show its reflection. Neither did the rearview camera. It only showed digital interference. As the forest faded from view, so did the roars of the forest dweller. But I had made eye contact with it. And I can't be sure of it. But I think it knows me. And now I can't be sure any place where there are trees can be safe at all. It's been 7 years since then. But I still cannot get the image of that horrible wooden face out of my head. The nightmares are worse. I see the creature holding my friend. He's screaming for help. I cannot move. And in a single slash, he's gone and sent to its dark realm. Out of sheer fear, I could not go to sleep. I cannot go anywhere the trees are thick. Cannot look at spiders anymore. And I cannot bear to listen to the howls of sirens. I don't know where it is. But I do know that it's coming from me. And that it does not give up when it finds a victim. The forest dweller is relentless. And it will not stop until it gets me. What I saw that day will haunt me until I die. Which I hope is soon. Regular contributor to Tapes of Trepidation and friend of the show Liliana Roman joined us by the campfire to share a spooky story of that seemingly harmless area just behind your school. Don't be afraid to walk down the forest trail.
It's not quite in a forest. It's just a walkway behind the back of a school that's slightly overgrown in some parts with large trees in it. The path is man-made, running straight through the forest. It's supposed to be for bikes. They use it often, but you can walk on it too. In autumn, squirrels roam the trees. You can hear them snapping branches and see them scrambling from tree to tree. Though it's best not to stop and watch them for too long. The autumn air will nip at your ears and nose, making them sting a bit. In summer, the berries that sprout from the tree can be smelled. They aren't very nice, and it really shows only a fool to take one and eat it. To birds, they're fine, but to humans, they can have a few unpleasant effects. The part that travels through a small grove of trees is home to the whines and whistles of the wind. Branches creak, and in the depth of night, if you stand still, you can hear their moans, the words they cry. Some are illiterate jumble. Others may hold some importance to you. It's best not to stand for too long in the dark. They don't tolerate eavesdroppers very long. In the spring, when it's not quite warm, the birds will give hushed calls to each other, checking their homes. They twitter and tweet giddily, laughing at your presence. Oh, they laugh at you in the spring. They are scornful pests and curse you with their mask of cheery songs. But you love it. We all do. Their gossip flows through their songs like wildfire. If briefly, now, you slow your pace and pause to listen to their high-pitched words, maybe you'll feel enlightened by their squawks of nonsense, but if you do, remember, do not wait too long, for their scornful tweets may come closer to where you're weak. In the winter, there are no birds. In the winter, the trees are asleep. Their leaves have fallen away and the ground is barren. In the winter, whispers do not wander. In the winter, you must be quick. In winter, harsh winds may bite your skin and burn the tip of your nose and rim of your eyes. Squirrels do not break branches, but branches will break. Feet may not hit the ground, but footsteps shall be made. Do not break pace. Though blind, they watch. If winter day does not chill your bones, travel through at night with quick steps. In winter's night, when you wonder if that shadow on the ground is really yours. In winter's night, when you twitch at every sound made. In winter's night, when cold bristles your skin, turning your cheeks to a ruddy cherry as you peer down each darkened, twisting corner. There are no lights on this particular trail, and once it curves away from the school, all light is vanquished. Don't fear it. Keep pace as you walk. The sight may be dead, but you do not need to be afraid. You aren't alone. Never have you been. So would you now, in the cold spikes of the dark winter night, stand still and wait for just a second too long, and listen to the crunch of feet not your own.
Our final tale this evening is a story that takes place in a very real and dark place, on the other side of the world from where we are. In the darkest of places, evil can often take hold. Join me in sharing one man's terrifying story while exploring Japan's suicide forest. It's apparent that every culture has had its fair share of ghost stories. Certain locations in various countries stir superstition among the locals. One particular place has piqued my interest for a number of years now. A forest located in Japan at the base of Mount Fuji. The Suicide Forest. It's the second most popular suicide location in the world, hence the title. Walking through this beautiful forest is very tranquil, and as hiking always is, relaxing in some ways. Explore enough of the off-beaten paths and crossing many no-entry signs. you will discover many macabre things. Deserted campsites left as a statue in time, although affected by Mother Nature. Or, if you are as lucky as I, skeletal remains of undiscovered corpses of the forgotten souls that chose to end their lives. I lost pieces of my sanity from the number of skulls I discovered. And in some cases, when discovering abandoned tents, family portraits took bites out of my heart. I do not want to trifle with the instability of my emotions. It was my mistake to spend so much time mourning the loss of people I did not know. Suddenly, the moon rose high in the sky, and fear began to infest my soul. Being a foolish city boy, I let my curiosity get the better of me, and I found myself lost in the denseness of the forest. It's funny how quickly panic sets in, especially when you remember the suicide forest is supposedly haunted. With the amount of death reeking from the place, I was not surprised. Fearful? Yes. You never know true darkness until you are surrounded by trees, and civilization seems a mere fantasy. To add to my stress, I neglected to bring a flashlight. I assumed I would only visit the forest during the day, as I knew it would be impossible to navigate through the dense woods at night. Even with a flashlight, it would be hard to have a sense of the word direction. As sweat began making home to my brow, the ambient voices flooded my ears. There was an echoing of thousands of footsteps. I was petrified. Not understanding what course of action to take, I began walking. In true horror fashion, I was suddenly at a no-entry sign, and looking down the path it blocked off, my eyes met a terrifying fright. Under the moonlight, there was the silhouette of two people nearly 10 feet away. Blinking, their insidious movements implied I was their prey. There was something surrounding their feet. My immediate assumption would have been rocks if I had not seen the glow of a dozen pairs of eyes. Heads. They were standing on a pile of heads. The girl I managed to make out picked up one of the heads and began stroking its hair as if it were a cat. I started running as fast as I could. I only took a second to look behind me as I immediately struck a tree. At least, that's what I told myself. She was a solid mass, but visually, she did not resemble something alive. Red, dripping blood surrounded her blackened eyes. Her devilish smile reduced my legs to extra weight I was unable to lift. As she clasped her ghostly fingers around my throat, I noticed her pupils were milky white. Tilting my head back caused me to spasm. A male figure stood above us, laughing at my anguish. He was also talking to the head the girl was stroking earlier, telling it, "Look how marvelous she is. She is an amazing woman." The light finally began fading from my eyes. I heard the girl utter the words, "Daddy." is a welcoming affair. Can you not see how happy we are? This forest, under the moonlight, holds many wonders and terrors. You are a mere drop in the sea of blood running through the roots of each and every tree. Thank you so much for joining me this evening for the third edition of the Campfire Sessions, here on Tapes of Trepidation. I hope you had as much fun as I did sitting around the campfire while these stories were shared. The stories featured on this edition were Forest Dweller, written by Adamwalker, and originally posted on the Creepypasta Wiki. Forest Trail, written by ArnieKat, and it was originally posted on the Creepypasta Wiki. Guest narration and dialogue editing was done by Liliana Roman. Japan's Suicide Forest was written by NightmareHungry. It was originally posted on the Creepypasta Wiki. The Tapes of Trepidation theme and the wonderful acoustic version you're currently hearing was written and performed by JM Scherf. If you need any custom music or stock music, JM is the man and is awesome to work with. You'll find a link to all this content in the show notes. All logos, banners, overlays, including the brand new Campfire Sessions overlay, were done by the incredible Jason Rees from Jaybird Digital Arts. If you need any kind of graphic design work done, Jason is your guy. You'll find a link to contact him in the show notes. If you enjoyed what you heard here today, consider subscribing, leaving a rating, and following Tapes of Trepidation on your favorite podcast platform and on social media. You can find a link tree in the show notes. And be sure to check out the archives of Tapes of Trepidation. If for some reason this is your first time joining us on the podcast, we normally do things a little differently. So I implore you to go check out the other nearly 70 episodes of content. And if you feel like supporting the show a little more, consider joining the Tapes of Trepidation Patreon. With as little as $5 a month, you can gain access to monthly bonus short story narrations, the weekly behind-the-scenes podcast within the archive, a weekly shout-out, and more at higher tiers. So come, join us, and become trapped within the archive. Just like my current patrons, Doozer Pin Dan, Ronan Kumori, Eric Phones, Patrick Stewart, Madam Strangeways, Dr. Torment, Tori, and Queen Cam. Thank you all so much for the support. It really means a lot to me. All content used on Tapes of Trepidation is either original, used with permission, or is available on your Creative Commons share-alike license. Licensing information can be found in the show notes. Now, I think it's best if you head out for the night, as the fire is starting to die out, and you never know what may be lurking nearby in the dark. Hope to see you next time.